Hero points. Do you use them? Or do you choose not to use them? Let's discuss. Rob here from Sage Tower Games, and I'm here to talk to you about a Pathfinder 2nd Edition a rule variant, or what was a rule variant, but now is actually more of a general rule in 2nd Edition. In 1st Edition, I believe it was an optional variant rule, and in 2nd Edition, they do seem to have kind of made it a general rule, even though you don't have to technically play with it, as nothing in the book really mentions it except for this one little segment, and that is hero points. Now, the way hero points are supposed to work, or what they represent, is your party doing a heroic deed, and by doing that, it kind of has given you some sort of good fortune, possibly in the future, to help you overcome a challenge. Now, the way it works, and I'll take it from the expert from the book, is that usually, as written in the book, it says hero points only last for that session. You gain 1 hero point at the beginning of a session, and you can gain more throughout the session up to a max of 3. Then you lose them all at the end. Then you can spend these hero points whenever you wish in one of 2 ways. You can either spend it 1 hero point to re-roll a check, and then you must take the second result of the check. And you must then your other option is to spend all your hero points to avoid death, automatically getting rid of the dying condition, bringing you up to a stabilized with 0 hit points. Now, they do say you need to describe the events, describe kind of what you're doing to make a heroic event. That's not part of the, like, you have to do it, but obviously it helps to make it more meaningful. Like, I don't think a GM was gonna, like, hinge on you if you say, well, you didn't describe it in heroic fashion. How are you doing it? You know, some players may just want to use it as an extra oops point. And that's how it's used as written. I've made some modifications to it in my system. One, I don't give it out like candy. The way I have it is you gain 1 hero point per session, and you essentially lose it and gain it every session, kind of. So basically that means is you're gonna start the session with at least 1 hero point no matter what. It's just so that you at least have that 1 point. And then you may gain some throughout the session. Normally what I do is I'm almost making it like a milestone reward in a way. They defeated a major encounter, they get a hero point. Maybe they did something that's a bit, left field, some crazy tactic that even I wasn't prepared for, and it surprised me and the table. Get a hero point, sure. I also modified some of the rules. It says it says to spend a hero point, reroll a check, you must take the second result. I've changed it personally as a homebrew rule, if you will, that you can take either one, whichever one's higher. I'm not gonna penalize you if you roll a saving throw and you think, well, I don't think it's that good. It's like in that possible fail territory, but you're trying to get a success, and then you use a hero point and like roll a natural 1 or something, and you critical fail instead. I feel like that's not a fun way to penalize you. The other thing I do is you don't lose the points at the end. So since I don't give out points that frequently, like I said, if I get them out from major encounters, you pretty much have those points in the bank until you actually use them. So that way you always have your base of 1, and then you have a few extra ones you may gain throughout the campaign or throughout the sessions. Now, what do I think about hero points being actually used in a session, in a game? I think it's good. I actually think it's not that bad. The only one I would probably change, and this is homebrew based on how you and your party feel, is the one about avoiding death. Possibly depending on how much you spend or how your party spends points. Some parties may want to keep their points in case they die. Some may just want to blow it, not thinking that they'll ever die, and then they make it into a bad situation. Now, having that one good oops reroll helps a lot. Or to reroll, like, you know, I've had players reroll an attack because they want to make sure it hits, or, you know, some sort of skill check just to try and improve their odds of passing it, especially if it's with an important NPC that they're trying to influence. So that's a cool feature, I think, to have. It just gives people, because we all know RNG can be horrible, so sometimes giving that help is a good benefit. Some players, I will say my party does it as well, kind of might have that mental meta game of where you know the session ends in like 30 minutes, so you may as well blow all your hero points at that point, and then because you know you're getting at that point back anyway, so you may as well use it for the hell of it. And that's fine. I mean, there's nothing against doing that. It is kind of a bit of a little cheeky kind of way to pull it off. The only caveat I do say to that, and this is my own things because of how some sessions work when I've played them on virtual tabletop and stuff, is if you have a battle and because you know you're not sitting at the table, maybe you may end a session mid-battle. At first I let it go, but then I kind of enforced it a bit, in where if they had one hero point at the beginning of a battle began, they used the hero point in that battle. I feel like it's a bit of a weird loophole that if the session starts and they're still in the battle, they gain another hero point that they can then use in that same battle. So they tend to get 2 hero points from one battle. That's a bit of a weird timing issue where you might have to like crack down on. However, hero points are actually not that bad for 2nd edition. That's because, especially if you have newer players, it's a good way for them to not get bot so quickly. Damage numbers are a lot bit differently here compared to in 1E. There's a lot more damage that can be popped through, and a player can easily go down without realizing how quickly it is to go down in this version of the game. And if they're not ready for it, they may be caught off guard and surprised, and before they know it, it's dying 1, dying 2, and they don't have a good strategy for it. Especially for like the early adventure paths, which I've heard stories of Age of Ashes, of Extinction Curse, Agents of Edgewatch, where the early books are really, really spiky, and there have been TPKs because the players were just not ready for the encounters written, which are, some of them are unfair, I'll be honest. Some of them are poorly written. But having that little hero point backup to ensure that they don't get slaughtered is a good option to have. Does that mean you have to use hero points in your system? No, you don't have to use hero points. That's your choice if you wish to use them between you and your party. Do you give them out freely? Sure. The only thing I would say, obviously, if you're going to give them out freely, they don't keep them so that they can only use them in that session, which is fine. And try and push them a little bit. What I mean by this is, making sure that they're describing the heroic deeds. Make sure they don't try and like milk everything. Kind of like how they may try and milk the hero points in a way to do something stupid just to get a hero point. It could be fun for like every now and then to have this cool moment. But if people are kind of trying to game the system, it may detract from the actual story you're trying to push. And you don't want that. That being said, in conclusion, the hero points system is actually a really good system. Like I said, I tweaked it a bit in my campaign, and I think I'm going to still tweak it in future campaigns. I think that it is a nice little touch to kind of give players an extra benefit here or there without breaking the game too much. So, hope you guys enjoy hero points if you use them. If not, try them out. It could be something that your party actually enjoys. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and be sure to subscribe and like for more Pathfinder 2nd Edition content. Thank you guys for watching.